Hello, all you book writers out there. If you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, not sure where to start, maybe you started and got stuck with a big case of writer's block, we're
Mhm.
here to help. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I am a book coach. I love helping you write your book. And with me is one of our best-selling authors, Joanie Lindenmeyer. She's here because we are collaborating on two amazing, powerful books. And we are coming live every Friday here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel to help you learn all the steps that you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. So stay tuned because today's topic is all about how to launch your book. So Joanie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Happy day to you, Elizabeth, and to everybody.
Thank you, Joanie. Thank you. So we've been doing this for many weeks now. So if you're just joining us, please check out all the other videos on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing platform. YouTube channel. We're also about to make this into a podcast that will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the places you listen to podcasts. So you'll get the audio version of this as well, because Joanie and I are creating two phenomenal books. I've written more than 40 books. Joanie has her book, Nun Better, an amazing love story that is an LGBTQ love story. It's so powerful. So Joanie, can you talk about why it's so important to plan your launch in a personalized way?
Oh, absolutely. Elizabeth, a year ago when you first mentioned that to me, I thought, I have never been to a book reading before. I've never been to a book launch before. All I could picture was this rocket just going way up into the universe as a launch. And I go, well, I guess another way of saying that is one big, incredible party. And so
Yes.
I've never been pregnant before. And so maybe it's like a baby shower. Maybe it's like a huge wedding. Maybe it's like when you turn 30, it's like a huge party. And
Yeah.
so just to have that attitude in my mind was just like incredible, because I thought, who do I want to share it with and for? And to me, I'm a sports person. Team is super important. So I wanted the team involved. I wanted them to be a part of it. And I started planning it already, picking a date. That was probably number one, was picking the date of when I wanted to have this enormous party. And for us, for None Better, it was pretty simple. It was March 19th, 2022. No, 23. 23. I forgot even where I am. It's only been like 6 months, right? Yes. So March 19th, 2023 was the date of our launch. And
Yes. So,
go ahead.
well, that gets into the first point. First, I want to define what is a book launch. A book launch is when you literally, like Joanie said, launch your book into the world. It's the world's first introduction to the physical book. And so you have a party, book signings, some kind of event. It could be a speaking engagement. It can be a theme party. It can be the sky's the limit. And the most important thing is what Joanie said, is to create an experience that is organic to your book and your message and your personality and your region of the country or world. And so we're going to dive into the many events that Joanie had, starting with the first event, which was the official launch on the publication date. But Joanie, I'd like to first backtrack a little bit and talk about the importance of selecting the best publication date that's relevant to your book. And I'll elaborate after you share why you chose March 19th, 2023.
Okay. March 19th was the day that Carol and I made vows as religious sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet, a very important feast day called St. Joseph's Day. So that was a no-brainer. The other part was when Carol had her stroke, it was, oh boy, here we go again. We're starting off early. The tears are coming, but that's good because it's all good. March 19th was the day that the Lord said, you know what? She's going to survive this brain bleed stroke. And so I gave her over to the Lord. Miracles happened. The angels and the lights appeared. And yes, she became alive again, so to speak.
Yes.
And so two important things on March 19th. And it was like, yes, what a celebration. Oops.
You can read the details of that story, which is nothing but a miracle, in Nun Better, An Amazing Love Story by Joanie Lindenmeyer with Carol Tierheimer, who lived 8 years after the stroke and had more love and adventure with Joanie throughout their 40-year love story. And it's all in this book. It's so beautiful. It's a bestseller, hardcover, paperback, and ebook, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever you buy books online. This book is touching so many lives everywhere. People are constantly coming up to Joanie saying, thank you for writing this book. It affirms me. It affirms all LGBTQ plus people. It educates non-LGBTQ plus people about us, and it's powerful. So people are telling those types of testimonials to Joanie all day, every day, online, on her Facebook page at Joanie Lindenmeyer. You can visit her there and learn and connect with her as well. And it's just beautiful. It shows the power of writing a book and the ability to change the world one life at a time. So Joanie, you picked that publication date, and we worked really hard. I coached you for 6 months to write the book, and you did an amazing job in 5 months. And then I edited it and we published it. And so let's talk about how you planned your launch for the book. Now, you had multiple events and they were all unique unto themselves in different cities. So let's talk about the very first one in your town of Brookings, Oregon.
Okay. I'm going to backtrack a little bit before that, because to me, it's like it was the excitement before the exact date that made the date so successful and so celebratory, because I was spreading the word like crazy. Becca was videotaping me. I was putting them on Facebooks, twice a month, and then once a month, and then once a week, with the excitement of what was coming up, inviting everybody and anybody, letting people know that, hey, you're in the book. You may want to come to the celebration because you're in the book. That was pretty exciting. And then lining up the location, the phone calls, the brainstorming of where I wanted to have it, talking to people ahead of time to see if it would fit and make it a win-win, because wherever I chose, I wanted it to be a win-win. And then the fun part of, what am I going to have at that event? Did I want flowers, balloons, food, and I was so much fun ordering the shirts. Oh my gosh, I remember calling you, Elizabeth, calling Catherine, calling my family members and saying, what size shirt do you wear? What size shirt do you wear? And so you had no idea what I was doing. You had no idea what I was doing, but I was making t-shirts for everybody that is on the team that I could present at the time. I had wine bottles that people had donated wine, and I got labels that I had ordered ahead of time. So all these things were adding to my excitement and leading me to talking to more people, which meant more people were invited to the event. And that was really, really cool. And so we finally decided, and I say we because it was a team, we decided on our local Wild River Pizza restaurant. And it's a pizza place, and it's normally a birthday party kind of place for little kids. And it's just an open environment. I talked to Cisco, my music guy, and I said, Cisco, what do you think about playing some guitar? And so he was the entrance song as people came in. I had the banner made ahead of time. I know I'm going off the wall here, but it was just so exciting, inviting people any which way I could, letters, text messages, Facebook, just, hey, spread the word, bring a friend, bring a friend. And it was pouring rain that day. Do you remember? You flew in. That was like amazing. Dan and Andrew came from Medford, and Catherine was here, your sister from Ashland. And oh my gosh, I still just get the chills. Like, it just happened 6 months ago. Wow.
Yeah. So I live in Michigan, and I flew out to visit my sister and attend Joanie's events, which were spectacular. You're not going into too much detail, Joanie, because all those things are what made the party so amazing. Let's talk about teamwork, because first of all, you were not shy about inviting people. Secondly, everybody knows and loves you, so they were excited to help. And then Andrew and Dan, who are in the book, wonderful, amazing couple, they showed up with so many flowers, like dozens and dozens of roses of all different colors. And so we had this room with these long tables, and we just put roses everywhere. And roses are important in the book because Joanie has a rose garden that is a dedication to Carol at her home.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then we also had all these balloons that were very festive. So we were putting balloons and roses everywhere. The
Yes.
food, the pizza smelled delicious. People were drinking delicious beverages. There was a long line for people to purchase your book, and then you would autograph them. And of course, you being you spent time chatting with each person to write a memorable, meaningful note in their book. So that was special.
And with a hug. Every person got a hug when I signed the book.
Yeah. It was just beautiful. And many of the people who are in the book, like Dalton's mother, Dalton wrote a testimonial quote and his family. And so it was just beautiful. And so Joanie, can you talk about
Can I add a few things in there?
Of course.
Okay, so part of the pre-planning is that we were asking people if they wanted to donate a rose bush to go in our yard. And so people were bringing rose plants and putting them at the table. We had like a greeters table. I had Carol's pictures of all of our life there as well. And we had a guest signing book. We had a raffle. So Doris was there handing out raffle tickets because I had put, and I had ordered these backpacks, rainproof backpacks that people could put their book in. And so we had raffle, and I raffled off a couple of the books of already signed in these backpacks. And that was fun just to have a raffle going on. And then the other part of the food was my Bazaar ladies, my Oregon Extension group that I belong to. They made all the homemade cookies and brownies that we had spread out. And Cindy Lou made incredible brownies. And so it was like a total team effort. You talked about team, and that's what it was. It was everybody had a part in it, because it's not just my book, my celebration. I really believe it's everybody's.
Mm-hmm. Yes, beautiful. And the feeling there was so joyous, so happy, so celebratory. It was love. It was just pure love. And so what, do you think there were 100 people or more, Joanie?
Yeah, we guessed between 100 and 125 by the time it was over.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you sold how many books?
Oh boy. The pre-order or at that event?
At that event, you had hardcovers and paperbacks for sale. You sold a lot of books. I don't know the exact number, but it was.
I know it was over 70.
Okay, that's really
good. I know it was
good.
over 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
awesome.
pre-order books also went really, really well. So people were pre-ordering them. Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about pre-ordering another day. And we'll also talk about what you touched on, promotions in advance of launch day. That's a whole different talk. So we'll do that another day as well. So stay tuned, everybody. So I want to talk about the launch parties that I've had for my books before we get into Joanie's next events. My first book, White Chocolate, I had an amazing party with friends and family. It's a novel, and we had
that book was so touching, Elizabeth, when I read it. Oh my gosh, it was like, I hope you don't get hurt. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm crying, I'm laughing. I'm like, what's gonna happen next? That is such a great book. I love that book of yours.
Oh, thank you, Joanie. That was my first novel. So we had friends and family come together in this beautiful venue, and I autographed 290 books in one night. It was mind-blowing. And then for my next book, Dark Secret, we had it in another place that had this like indoor waterfall over marble, delicious food. And I autographed more than 400 books. And then my next book launch party was for Twilight, a love story novel that I wrote with the actor Billy D. Williams, who's coming out with his new memoir soon, this fall. And that party was the party of all parties. People still talk about it. It was in a two-story ballroom. We had a buffet of seafood with ice sculptures, live music, an MC, Huel Perkins, who's a TV news anchor, or was here. He's retired now. We were up on this stage, me and Billy, autographing, and there was a long line of people winding around the ballroom to buy the book. And then they came up, and the women were just swooning because he's the icon of romantic, just charm. And oh my gosh, it was remarkable. But we autographed more than 600 books that night. I know, it was so phenomenal, so joyous, so fun. Anyway, so that I had the financial backing to do a party like that, thankfully, which was just amazing and outstanding. And it was just the party of the summer when we did it. So I've also done smaller events at bookstores and in homes, private. My mother's book launch was her book is The Triumph of Rosemary, a memoir by Judge Marilyn E. Atkins. It's being made into a screenplay right now, which we're going to shop to Hollywood as soon as the writer's strike is over. And her book is about her amazing against the odds success story. And it's available at the triumphofrosemary.com or on Amazon in paperback and ebook and audiobook.
And I love her book too. Oh my gosh, talk about an inspiring story. I literally cannot wait to meet your mom in person. You read about somebody in a book and you hear their story, but it's like, I want to meet her. I want to look in her eyeballs and go, way to go, Marilyn.
Thank you, Joanie. You're the sweetest, the sweetest. Oh my gosh. So her book launch party was at the home of our dear family friend who loves to entertain, and her whole basement is made into an entertainment space. And so she hosted my mother's friends and family at her home, and it was so beautiful. Book signing, talk, we gave her flowers. It was just wonderful. So you can make your book launch party as big or as small as you want it to be. And you can also have multiple events. So Joanie, let's move into your next events. Your next event.
You bet. And part of that is, Carol and I have still family and friends throughout different places. And so the other one we wanted to do was in our local library in Brookings, Oregon, the Chetco Community Library. And that was so special because it was library based. And at that time, there's always been a little friction about having LGBTQ books in our library. And ours is a love story about our life. And so it was so wonderful to have the library board there and people there that couldn't make it to the one on the Big Pizza one. And so they were able to come. And we had another 50 or 60 people come to that one too, which was great. Crescent City, California, a half an hour away. People came from there. People came from Gold Beach. People came from Medford. So it was like a melting.
Oh, your audio went out, Joanie. Your audio just went out. Your audio just went out, Joanie. Oh, there you are. Can you say you stopped at melting pot?
Okay, so it was a melting pot of people in different places that I went. So the next thing was a 30-day road trip that I took and went over to Pascal Winery, which was phenomenal, hosted by Dan.
We have to totally talk about that in depth. So don't bypass. That was an extravaganza. Please.
Oh my gosh. Go for it.
Oh, okay. So Oregon has many wineries, vineyards. It's beautiful. And so Pascal Winery, Joanie's dear godson, Daniel Perry Walkup, hosted this book launch event at Pascal Winery, which had this party room that had all the elements that I absolutely love. Chandeliers, velvet sofas, this really like sparkly lights, a walkout patio with a view of the vineyard. It was gorgeous.
The wine bar,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Totally up your alley. I'm more like a pizza pub kind of person, and you were in your element in this more elite, exquisite place, but I loved it just as much too.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh. And all kinds of people who are friends with me and Catherine, my sister, Catherine Greenspan, who lives in Oregon, people who are Joanie's friends, fans who learned about the event through the media. They all came.
I even had former students that flew in for it.
Oh my gosh, from California?
Yeah. And same with the one in San Francisco, but keep going. Yeah.
Wow, Joanie, that's amazing. So there were at least 100 people there. Did you ever get a head count?
I think 130
in
and out.
Yeah. So Joanie signed books. Catherine and one of her and Joanie's sister, Gail, handled the sales.
She flew up to be with me the whole time. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Gail. 2 weeks of being with you. Woo-hoo.
That was really special. Her sister, Gail, flew up from San Diego to help launch. And also So Catherine and Gail, our sisters, helped do the sales, and
Yes.
people lined up to get autographs from Joanie, which of course included a hug this time as well. And so then Joanie did a talk. She gave some gifts. She gave me a wine bottle, which was it was a wine bottle with a label from your book cover. It was really
Nun
cool.
Better book. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was fun. And just the beauty of these launch events is seeing your friends and family come together to celebrate your amazing accomplishment of a book that's not just a book, but it's going to go out and touch their lives and everybody else with this beautiful ripple effect that makes a positive impact on the world.
Right.
So
Right.
it's got so many levels. It's such a rich experience. She sold tons of books at that party. And it was just amazing. So
Can I jump in there again?
Of course.
Okay. Two things that were so important to me, Elizabeth, was I wanted a prayer. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I had a prayer by a certain person at each event. And people thought, people loved it. This is Joanie and Carol having a quick little prayer from Deacon Linda or Joyce or somebody. It was just wonderful. And I love the prayer part. Oh boy, I just had a brain fart.
Oh no, the prayer. It was beautiful,
Yeah,
and everybody was open. And another important thing about Joanie is, though she's a former Catholic nun, she also became Episcopalian, and she's all about spiritual love. There doesn't have to be labels and all these restrictions and rules. It's all about love and peace and harmony. So the prayers reflected that. Everybody was included.
Right. What I wanted to bring up was my clothes. Thank goodness for you and Catherine and my sister Gail, since I am not really a clothes kind of person, and how the three of you helped me pick out my outfits to wear for each of the events, which I thought was a hoot. And I still rely on the three of you today to even help me with some of my clothes. But that was really, really important because it made me feel better. And it was just awesome. It was just awesome.
Yay. Excellent. Excellent. So I just want to also share that around these launch events, Joanie attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting that morning with us, the Ashland Greeters Chamber of Commerce meeting, and she talked about her book. So we promoted the event and some people came. That was awesome. She also did some media around it and was constantly, I joined the Ashland YMCA for the 2 weeks I was there because I needed the exercise. That's my commitment to myself daily. And so when I was in the sauna at the gym, I was promoting your book to the ladies. It was amazing. They're like, oh, I need to buy that book right away. It was so cool. Joanie sells books out of her backpack. You're welcome. Joanie sells books out of her backpack wherever she is. And I've been known to sell books out of my trunk at the post office. So you just have to be your number one promoter and not be shy about it. Be really proud of this amazing accomplishment, because it's not just a goal that you reach, it's a mission. And the mission is to touch lives. And with every copy of this book that's in someone's hands, mind, and heart, it is going to change their life. They'll share it with somebody else. And it just, again, has a ripple effect like a pebble in a pond to have this positive wave of positivity and love across the world. So Joanie didn't stick to Oregon. She moved on to
San Francisco. Dalton hosted a wonderful LGBTQ at the gay bar called The Yield in San Francisco, and it was probably the under 35 scene, and it was a hoot. It was a hoot, and of course, in all these places, I'm now, besides the pizza place, I'm now doing a reading from the book. And so at different places, and I have my own book, which I call my yearbook, because anybody who is in the book, I'm asking them to sign it. And then that is my book. So wherever I go, then people that are in the book. And so that's what I read out of. And of course, I get to talk about the people in the book and how it came to be. And I talk about Gail and Cammie and you and Tara and Deborah and everybody involved in the whole team of how the game, how the book came across. And I think to me, that is just so important to give accolades and to, again, let people know that it's a team that does this. And as I've said from the very beginning, it was Jesus, Carol, and Joanie who wrote this book, not just me. It's always Jesus, Carol, in any of my decisions. And so from San Francisco, we went to Southern California, and my sister and I were doing a drive thing. So we're talking 1,000-mile drive trip down to San Diego area. And there, my sister Gail hosted an event. My sister Terry hosted an event. And then I went to a good friend Patty Finn's place and hosted an event. And we did some little things here and there in San Diego. And then, oh boy, I forgot where we went from there. But I came north again. And then I had one in Redding. I had one in Sacramento. And I'm just sort of making the rounds as I'm doing all this. And it's still going on today. I feel like I'm still, I don't consider it the official launch, but to me, it's an official launch for where I am with those people, because they don't know any different, you know? And so it's like wherever I am, it becomes an official launch. I did one in San Diego just recently when I was there, and what turned in from 5 people supposed to meet together in a private apartment turned into 28 people in an activity room. It's like, holy moly, word starts to spread, excitement starts to spread. And I believe, you know, it happened to you and for you, Elizabeth, in your locations. And for the people out there right now, you're writing a book. Think about it. People want to hear about it. They want to read about it. And what I love about it, in all these book events, I am gathering questions and comments from the people at these book events, and I'm writing those down. I'm typing them up. And that's what's going to be included, Elizabeth, in the books that we're doing now, which I am so excited about, Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts. And I'm already thinking, where should we do these launches, including Prides, because this new book, the 2 new books we're doing, will be ready June 6th. That's our official launch date, right? Yes. June 6th. And that's also my good friend Ruthie's birthday, which, by the way, and it's also new moon. You're into the new moon stuff.
Yeah.
So June 6th, 2024, it's like, watch out, world. We've got another rocket launch coming on.
A double one.
A double launch.
Because both books have. So that leads to another really important point of your target audience for each book, which we did a show on. So you can find that one here and listen to finding your target audience, who you're talking to in your book. And so our Healing Religious Hurts book targets people who have religious wounds and need to heal them. And the Joyously Free book is about LGBTQ people living and loving freely and authentically, as well as allies and parents. So those are 2 very different audiences. There is some intersection because oftentimes LGBTQ plus people are hurt by religion and are seeking solace and empowerment, which Joanie is such a leader in. And so, and me too, with my personal story about religion and spirituality. So you can read about it in God's Answer is No, KNOW, Lessons from a Spiritual Life, my memoir about my spiritual awakening and empowerment and teaching you how to do the same. It's on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and ebook.
And you want to get it, everybody. You want to get it and read it. I'm on my 2nd time of reading it.
Oh, that's so sweet, Joanie. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's a darn good book. It's a darn good book.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's right here. And it's really, I poured my heart and soul into this book, and it's really about things, a lot of stuff I had never shared with any human being, but I put it in the book to share with the world. So
you are so gutsy. You are so gutsy.
Thanks, Joanie. Thank you. I'm very proud of this contribution to the world, spiritual awakening. So the point is that finding your target audience for each book, like I would not promote this book to atheists because they're not interested in reading about God and spirituality. The Healing Religious Hurts book, if somebody's happy in their religious experience, they're not going to need to read that book. So who are the people we need to reach? That's something you need to understand prior to your launch party, because you need to promote it in a way that will appeal to the people who need it most. So clearly for Nun Better, Joanie's book, LGBTQ plus people, especially those who needed some affirmation and an example of living life happily with adventure and courage, because Joanie and Carol embarked on their love story in the early 80s when all the freedoms and legalities were nothing but a distant fantasy, if that. And it was a really difficult time during the HIV/AIDS crisis when there was a lot of violence toward gay people.
Yeah, so, a lot of prejudice, a lot of hate. Mhm.
So you have to know who your audience is. You have to know the who. You have to know what your message is. You have to know what you're doing, like what kind of event do you want to have? Are you having it at like a community center or a faith community place or a neighborhood club or someone's home where it's a private gala? Are you having it as part of a big book conference somewhere? You have to know what's appropriate and best for your book, where you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck to find your audience to purchase the book. Who,
Yeah.
what, when. You have to know the publication date. And let's talk about that, but we'll do a whole nother talk on that, Joanie. But a publication date is so important. You can't know your launch info until you have that. Is it going to be summer, winter, fall, spring? Is it going to be indoors, outdoors? Is it going to be related to a season or occasion? If your book is about schizophrenia, launch your book during Mental Health Awareness Month, May.
Mhm.
If your
Mhm.
book is
Mhm.
about motherhood, launch it on Mother's Day. If your book
Mhm.
is relevant to the holidays in December, launch it then. And also know sales cycles. January, everybody wants a self-help book. How do I lose weight? How do I feel better? How do I work smarter? January is like self-help month.
This is
Black History.
amazing. I never thought of all that.
Oh,
I
okay.
never thought of all of that. No
Yeah.
wonder you and Catherine are on my team. I can just rely on you for that.
I love it. So it's a very personalized strategy for every book. And that's what we specialize in here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing to help achieve that. Who, what, when, where, how. How are you going to do it? Some people pay for their events themselves. Some people have hosts, like who might pay for the venue and entertainment and all that stuff. Some people might actually get sponsors, like a corporate sponsor, a community group, to pay for the venue, the expenses. And you also have to know about your book sales at your launch. Are you going to have a bookstore come in and provide the books and handle sales? And if so, you probably will get 60% of the proceeds, where they keep 40% for providing the service. Whereas if you order the books, as most of our authors did and Joanie did, you order the books at the manufacturing cost and then you sell them at the retail price, you can make quite a significant profit from each book sale. That's really the best way to go. So you have to understand how you're going to sell the books at your event. You need some kind of digital cash register, which can be a phone, tablet, laptop, where you can go on your bank's app and do cash register transactions. It's amazing how to do that now. And
That
the
should be
money's
a whole other topic.
You're so right. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that,
We
as
need we
well
need to
as,
do the finance part of that. Yeah,
oh,
that would be a
yes.
really good topic.
Oh, I
You know,
love it.
and again, I just give hats off big time to your sister Catherine. She is my numbers lady, your numbers lady too, probably. She is the
Yes.
numbers lady. She is just got that business brain sense on all that kind of stuff. And man, did I need it. You know, I think back to my friend Maggie, who was in the novitiate with, who's in the book as well. And she goes, Joanie, you know, you've gone from book author to businesswoman. And I said,
Oh,
oh, I guess so, but I don't, I guess I'm doing that. I don't realize all these titles and how it's coming across to other people. And,
yeah.
I, I think I'm just into the ministry and the mission of what's going on versus sometimes even thinking about that. So I just keep pinching myself with all these new things that keep happening. And to involve, what do I want to say? Evolve into these different things that happen. It's not like you
Uh-huh.
have to have all your answers at one time. That's what I love about having a book coach and a publishing team as two sisters. I don't have to have all the answers. I can rely on you, Elizabeth, and you, Catherine, and my friends that are very savvy with things to ask questions and to figure out, well, what's my next step? What's my
Mhm,
next step? And
mhm,
that's what I'm excited about. Our two new books coming out of where
mhm.
we're going to do them. And I'm already getting Pride locations because June is the month for Pride when these two
Yeah.
books come out. That's
Yeah.
our target audience,
Yeah.
and
Mhm,
also the target audience for me is the religious world,
mhm,
and I've done ecumenical things at St. Tim's for Lutherans and Presbyterians and Episcopalians. And I'll be doing the same thing in Ashland in October, right after October 7th Pride. The next morning, I'm going to be with the Presbyterian community, and they're inviting other churches to be a part of a book gathering. It's like, this is the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing, Joanie. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about who, what, when, where, how. The last thing is why you're having this book launch. So you have to understand your mission, the why behind you even wrote the book. Why did you even write this book? What's the mission? What's the purpose? What's your goal, your intention? And so keep that top of mind as you plan these events to understand who it's for and how it's going to help them. So understand your why is very, very important. And also when you're picking venues, when you're picking the promotional strategy, what's your why? Joanie's why was to share her message, but also to create these joyous experiences for people, which they really, when I looked around your events, the one at the pizzeria, the one at the winery, everybody was just happy. They were just joyous. It was beautiful. One was on a Sunday. Yeah, one was on a Sunday afternoon at the pizzeria, and the other one was at a Friday evening, and it was just happy, happy, happy. So congratulations on your success with that, Joanie. And
thank you. Thank you.
You're
And I
welcome.
was so happy to have you and Catherine there. That was a shot in the arm. You know, it's one thing to know the author, but to meet the publishers and the editors and you two as authors yourself, that was and is so huge. It's like introducing you to Shaquille O'Neal or I don't know, Patrick Mahomes from the Kansas City Chiefs or whoever your favorite athlete is. You're with Catherine and Elizabeth, you are hanging out with the pros. And people, if you don't get that, these podcasts on every Friday. This is huge. This is big. How often do you get to sit and have a talk with Tiger Woods or whoever it may be? You know, this is what it is with Elizabeth and Catherine.
Oh, Joanie, you're the best. Thank you so much. Well, we've written and published more than 40 books in 7 years since starting Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, which is a global platform for publishing through Ingram Spark. And we love meeting new authors or helping people. I love coaching people. My new coaching program is up on our website, twosisterswriting.com. Joanie is a success story from the 6 months to book success program. Huge success story. And so please sign up if you need help. And I also do individual private sessions that can help you just get focused, strategize, outline your book, and just give you that boost that you need to get started with some clarity. Because your book is like a mountain. There's a sculpture, a book in there somewhere beautiful, but we have to chisel it down and break away all the boulders of confusion and overwhelm and writer's block and all that stuff to really see. And you can't see it yourself. You're stuck inside the mountain, but I have the creative vision and experience to help you see the masterpiece within. So
wow. Well,
yeah,
and that
let's
reminds
rock.
me, you know, I'm in Utah right now. And yesterday, my sister and we hiked up to Canara Falls. And I have never climbed over such boulders and slid down on my butt on so many places. And my sister had to help me up with my hand just a couple times to get up and around this, going through these crevices. It was amazing. So when you talk about that mountain and the boulders and stuff, you know, it's like physical as well as mental and emotional. It's all those three things when you do your book. Oh.
Yes. And I remember for the first launch at the pizzeria, all of us went out to dinner afterwards. It was me, you, Catherine, Dan, and Andrew, and your sister Gail. Yeah.
Yes.
And you were just like excited, but you were just zapped. Like you gave it all at your event. And the same thing happened after Pascal. We went to the Thai place, remember?
Yes.
And you were just at the head of the
sleep, didn't I?
Pretty much at the table because you gave it all at the party. It was so exciting. And you were just like unplugged. I love it. So Joanie Lindenmeyer, you're amazing. Thank you for joining me yet again for these live talks about everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote a book with Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. Everybody, please go to twosisterswriting.com and learn more about Joanie. She's got a whole author page there with her upcoming events. And we're making our website into a bookstore, so soon you'll be able to purchase her book there. But for now, there's a link to Amazon where you can get the hardcover, paperback, and ebook, and soon to be published audiobook. And
Yes.
you can also reach Joanie on her Facebook page at Joanie Lindenmeyer. And we would love to hear any comments or questions from you, comments about this topic or questions about things you'd like us to answer in future talks. So please drop us a comment here, and we're super duper excited to help you. Joanie, thank you again.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. And I love how we come up with these topics and we both just sort of rattle on. And I hope there's a golden nugget or nuggets for people writing a book or thinking about writing a book in these podcasts. I really, really do. And thank you to everybody who listens and watches these, because it's your input that helps Elizabeth and I grow even better.
Yes, 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 yes. Excellent, Joanie. Thank you. And
Yes.
thank you, all of you, for watching, listening. We're grateful for your presence. Please share this with anybody who's trying to write a book and needs the guidance that we're providing. Please visit twosisterswriting.com to learn about our publishing services, our book coaching services, and all our amazing authors. So I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. I wish you happy writing, and we will see you and talk to you next time. Happy writing.
You bet. And love hugs.
Big hugs.
You bet. Have a good day.
So Joanie, at the beginning, my microphone was not plugged in. So I need to start over at the very beginning just to record it to have the quality sound. So if you don't mind, it's still, oh,